when conversations begin about celebrities who eventually reveal deeply troubling behavior. Many people often point to subtle clues that had been visible for years. These early signs rarely stood out at the time, but once the truth surfaces, they feel almost impossible to ignore. That exact kind of retrospective attention is now gathering around the rapper and actor Common. As some online communities analyze past relationships and public patterns to be very clear, nothing in this narrative claims wrongdoing as fact. What we are exploring is how certain groups on the internet have interpreted patterns they believe they see. Patterns they argue resemble the behaviors of someone with narcissistic tendencies or manipulative relationship habits. Whether accurate or not, these discussions have taken on a life of their own, especially in connection to Common's recent romantic history, including public speculation surrounding his time with Jennifer Hudson. The conversation begins with a simple but important question. If people knew something was off, what exactly were they seeing? Observers suggest that the signs were subtle rather than explosive patterns that only become meaningful when placed next to one another. Small inconsistencies, repeated behavioral themes, relationships that seemed promising but ended abruptly, and a public persona that appeared polished and gentle in a way that made any concerns easy to dismiss. But online discourse is rarely gentle. Rumors can grow louder than the actual personalities involved. Still, the recurring theme across these discussions is the idea that Common's romantic history seems to follow a similar rhythm. According to online speculation, the theme goes like this. He meets someone, appears deeply invested, speaks lovingly, presents himself as emotionally available, and then, without clear explanation, the connection dissolves. Supporters defend him, stating that relationships fail for countless reasons, especially under fame. Critics argue the opposite, that the repetition itself signals a deeper pattern. This is where the conversation turns toward personality traits some people online identify as textbook narcissistic behaviors. Again, none of this is factual. Diagnosis: really speculation built by social media communities that often analyze celebrity relationships like case studies. One of the first traits people mention is idealization. In public interviews and appearances, Common has often spoken very highly of the women he dates. His compliments are effusive and poetic, fitting his brand as an introspective artist. To casual observers, these seem like signs of a thoughtful and loving partner. But some online critics interpret them differently. They argue that his early affection feels too intense, too perfect, almost like a curated emotional performance rather than authentic attachment. And then, online narratives continue. Comes the second phase: devaluation or distancing. The warmth fades. The public appearances decrease. The charming interviews become less frequent. Once again, this is entirely based on public timelines, and timelines can mislead. But this pattern has been mapped across several of his past relationships by people who believe there is something repetitive happening beneath the surface. This brings us to Jennifer Hudson, whose connection to Common drew significant attention. When the two were seen together, smiling, collaborating, appearing at events, fans were excited. The pairing seemed gentle, harmonious, almost too perfect. Hudson's grounded nature and Common's.com persona appeared like a complementary match. Yet even in the early stages of that public relationship, online spectators began sounding alarms, claiming they had seen this story before. Some said the sudden public affection felt familiar. Others warned that this was simply the honeymoon phase, that they felt he had displayed repeatedly with previous partners. The speculation intensified when videos, photos, and interviews surfaced, showing the couple with warm chemistry. Some viewers interpreted Jennifer Hudson's smiles and expressions as genuine interest and comfort. But the internet is never satisfied with face value. People began dissecting her body language, analyzing it frame by frame, in attempts to determine whether she seemed fully invested or subtly cautious. One viral claim involved a video circulation alleging that Hudson looked hesitant in certain interactions, though interpretation of body language online is notoriously unreliable. Despite that, the narrative spread that perhaps Jennifer Hudson sensed something was off, or that her instincts were warning her to be careful. But the truth is far more complex. Body language can reflect anything: shyness, tiredness, awkward camera angles, or simply being human. Still, speculation has a way of growing louder than nuance. This leads to another repeated belief circulating online: that Common's pattern is not built on intentional harm, but on emotional inconsistency. According to these narratives, he is charming, intelligent, artistic, and thoughtful, traits that naturally attract strong, independent women. Yet the argument goes, once deeper intimacy is required, he allegedly withdraws or detaches. Supporters counter this by saying that not every relationship is meant to last, especially in the entertainment industry. But the critics persist, claiming that the repetition across multiple relationships feels too structured, too similar to be coincidence. And then there's the rumored tension involving Tiffany Haddish, former partner whose relationship with Common was much more publicly documented. Their romance began with humor and warmth, and initially, the public adored them together. Haddish often spoke openly and confidently about their connection, describing affection and compatibility. But as with his other relationships, the dynamic shifted. The breakup sparked debate, and Haddish herself made subtle comments afterward suggesting frustration or disappointment. Some online theorists link this back to Jennifer Hudson. They propose narratives again, entirely speculative, involving IEHE. And we all know I've been exploring that path, afterward suggesting frustration or disappointment. We ever wide suggesting my why we can find my cans. MWF, we see if ICC to take for a C wall can Y cow 6. We see if we see YCM, why we see why they see why to see we see why we see MIC with C with Phi do with this do we to see we see with so we see with to see you are to see you slide you to carry to we Q with to you go I fit to could do with if I take I take we you with because guy that I fucking I overlapping timelines, miscommunications, or unspoken emotional entanglements. These theories tend to be dramatic and conspiratorial, but they persist largely because celebrity relationships leave so much hidden from public view, creating gaps that people rush to fill. At this point, the internet conversations take a darker turn, tempting to craft motive and personality. Some accuse Common of being emotionally avoidant. Others label him a love bomber. Some claim he is overly image conscious, protecting a brand more than nurturing authentic relationships. An entire subsection of commenters insists he is the embodiment of a spiritual, poetic charmer who never fully commits. But supporters of Common push back strongly. They argue that he is introspective, growth-oriented, and honest about his struggles. They point out that he has spoken openly about working on himself, his healing journey, and how difficult long-term relationships can be for anyone juggling fame and artistic careers. Still, the idea remains stubbornly alive in online communities that Jennifer Hudson may have sensed something, that she may have spotted a pattern others claim to see, and that this intuition influenced her emotional distance or hesitation in public moments. This returns us to the central point. Were there early signs? Or are these simply narratives built by people who love dissecting celebrity relationships? As with most things involving celebrities, certainty is impossible. We see curated moments, crafted images, small windows into vast, personal lives. And yet, online discussions continue building complex psychological profiles from those fragments. But the story doesn't end here. Because the deeper question forming in part 1 is not simply whether Common displays certain relationship patterns. The question is, if these patterns exist, what drives them? And even more importantly, how do these alleged patterns affect the women involved, especially women like Jennifer Hudson, who carry their own histories, wisdom, and instincts? Part 2 will explore those questions, the public reactions, the speculated emotional impact, and the broader cultural discussion around patterns, intuition, and celebrity romance.